And according to your website, you're also, I'm going to quote here, a longtime Democratic Party activist who served as a member of the 2016 Democratic National Convention's Platform Standing Committee, close quote. Is that correct?
That's correct.
Okay. You support Hamas, do you not?
Hey, Patriots. Welcome back to the channel. If you care about truth, honesty, and putting America first, you're in the right place. Today, we're diving into a Senate hearing exchange that honestly left me shaking my head. Senator John Kennedy, one of the few left in Washington with a backbone, absolutely grilled the executive director of the Arab American Institute. And folks, what we saw in that hearing is everything that's wrong with our political discourse today. Let's break it down, piece by piece, and I'll give you my full, unfiltered opinion as we go.
Senator, oddly enough, I'm going to say thank you for that question because it demonstrates the purpose of our hearing today in a very effective way.
Let's start first with a yes or no.
Hamas is a foreign terrorist organization that I do not support, but you asking the executive director of the Arab American Institute that question very much puts the focus on the issue of hate in our country.
Well, I got your answer, and I appreciate it. What is the, you support Hezbollah too, don't you?
Again, I find this line of questioning extraordinarily disappointing,
Is that a
Senator.
no?
That
Or
you have Arab American constituents that you represent in your great state.
Yes, ma'am, I understand that, but my time's limited, and I apologize, but is that a yes or a no?
A yes or no question to do I support Hezbollah? The answer is I don't support violence, whether it's Hezbollah, Hamas, or any other entity that invokes it.
You can't bring yourself to say no, can you?
No, I can say no. I can say yes.
But
what I can say is your line of questioning.
Do you support or oppose Iran and their hatred of Jews?
Again, I'm going to emphasize Iran, Hezbollah, Hamas, none of them is going to,
You can't bring yourself to say no, can
Sir,
you?
I don't support.
It's real simple.
Excuse me, I'm going to, if I may, as a Muslim woman, sir, I'm going to tell you I do not support Iran. But what I will tell you is that this conversation.
I'm running out of time. I'm sorry. You called our decision to cut funding. You called our decision to cut fund. Well, first, what's the United Nations Relief and Works Agency?
It's UNRWA, which is the institution that exists to provide services and aid to the nearly 6 million Palestinian refugees.
And you called our decision to cut funding for them, quote, an incredible moral failure, close quote.
That is absolutely correct. But again, I would suggest that conversation is about foreign policy.
We did that because 9 UNRWA staff members were fired for actually helping Hamas on October 7th. Isn't that the case?
I don't believe that that's correct in terms of...
Let me ask you one more time. You support Hamas, don't you? You support UNRWA and Hamas, don't you?
Sir,
Please.
I think it's exceptionally disappointing that you're looking at an Arab American witness before you and saying you support Hamas.
You know what's disappointing to me?
I do not support Hamas.
Bring yourself
I do not support Hamas.
You don't support UNRWA. You don't support Hamas. You don't.
I was very clear in my support for UNRWA.
Hezbollah, and you don't support Iran. You should hide your head in a bag.
So, Kennedy starts off with a simple, basic question. Do you support Hamas? He makes it clear Hamas is a terrorist organization, which, by the way, is not just an opinion. It's a fact recognized by our government and most of the civilized world. You'd think any American, especially someone testifying before the U.S. Senate, could just say, no, I don't support terrorists. But what do we get? We get dancing around, deflection, and a lot of talk about how asking the question is somehow problematic. Folks, let me ask you, why is it so hard to say you don't support terrorists? Why all the word games? This is what the left does, time and time again. They refuse to give a straight answer on the most basic issues because deep down, they don't want to alienate their radical base. They want to keep one foot in the progressive camp while pretending to be reasonable to the rest of us. But the truth is, if you can't say, I don't support Hamas, immediately without qualifications. You have no business lecturing the rest of us about morality. Then Senator Kennedy keeps pressing. He asks about Hezbollah. He asks about Iran, two more groups and regimes that are openly hostile to America, to Israel, and to freedom in general. And guess what? More dodging, more context, more concern about how the question makes her feel. Let me tell you something. The only people who are afraid of yes or no questions are people with something to hide. If you're truly against terrorism, you shouldn't have to think twice. You shouldn't get defensive. You shouldn't start talking about hate in our country when the question is about supporting groups that literally murder innocent civilians. This is the problem with the so-called woke left. They always want to make themselves the victim, even when the real victims are the people killed by terrorists. Sorry, but that doesn't fly with me, and it shouldn't fly with any American who cares about national security. Now the conversation shifts to UNRWA, the United Nations Relief and Works Agency. Kennedy explains that we cut funding because their staff were caught helping Hamas during the October 7th attacks. The witness disputes it, but let's be real. We've seen the reports. We know there's a pattern of corruption and terror ties in these so-called relief agencies, and yet she calls cutting funding a moral failure. Let that sink in. To her, it's a moral failure to stop American tax dollars from going to an agency infiltrated by terrorists. I'm sorry, but that's not a moral failure. That's called protecting the American people and making sure our money doesn't bankroll murderers. If you want to help innocent Palestinians, great. Let's find a way that doesn't involve funneling cash to terror groups. But don't stand there and act like it's immoral to demand accountability. At the end, Senator Kennedy gets blunt. He says, "You should hide your head in a bag." Now, I know the media will clutch their pearls over that, but honestly, sometimes you have to call it like you see it. If you can't condemn terrorism without caveats, you should be ashamed. Here's my final take, folks. This hearing wasn't just about what one activist thinks. It's about a mindset that's infecting our politics. The idea that we should tiptoe around evil, that we should worry more about offending terrorist supporters than about protecting innocent lives. Senator Kennedy spoke for millions of us when he demanded straight answers, and the fact that he didn't get them tells you everything you need to know. So, to all the politicians, activists, and bureaucrats out there, it's time to pick a side: America or our enemies, freedom or terror. There's no middle ground. If you agree, make sure to hit that like button, subscribe for more unfiltered truth, and share this video so more people see what's really going on in Washington. Drop your thoughts in the comments. Do you think Senator Kennedy was right to press for real answers, or should we just accept these non-answers as the new normal? Thanks for watching, Patriots. Stay strong, stay free, and God bless America.